Hey everyone, how's it going? You know, just week 2 of the Zero to Keystone Hero Brewmaster Challenge. We're gonna start out our week with our first vault. I think we got all the slots for LFR, but we didn't do a whole lot for keys. So I had already opened this vault before stream, but I didn't look, or before recording, but I didn't look. But what I got in here was some pants, shoulders, bandolier, and a band. But I always make sure to sim, and I didn't realize that those pants at first were tier. So I simmed, saw that the pants were the most optimal choice, and I took those. So now with that, I think we have 2 set, and we ended up getting a 5 Atal Dazar for our key for the week. We're going into this week with Incorporeal and Sanguine. Both of those are not things that I'm pretty confident in, but we get it done. We move on to our weekly chores here. We kill the world boss and unfortunately don't get any loot. That's not the end of the world though. Last week we got a pretty good neck, 460 neck, and then we move into our Super Bloom. Our Super Bloom is pretty good. We end up killing the boss. The Super Bloom takes a long time. I wish it didn't take as long, but we don't get anything decent off the boss, and we open up our cache here for the Super Bloom, and we get a one-handed weapon. We have Rashon, so we don't really need it, and we move on to our turning in our rep quest, but we already had a 460 neck from last week, so we don't need that. This Waycrest Manor. So I did this Waycrest, and I'm gonna try and pull this. You'll see the guy in the bottom says same, I'm NA. I was having the worst ping issues. You see how long it took me to attack it before numbers show up? And then I found out that the key holder was from Frostborn, so that explains a lot. But this pull was really rough. A lot of people were dying. Somehow I pulled it off without me dying. I think we had 4 deaths total by the end of this, but it was definitely not easy at all. I'll hit a button and then see how long it takes for numbers to pop up. It's just rough. But healer comes in, saves me with a life cocoon. I have my kick on, or I kick this next one. I think it's this. Yeah, I kick this one, and so now my kick's on cooldown. This healer just gets absolutely obliterated with these infected thorns because I can't kick. They can though, but they choose not to. But eventually we kill it, and we kill this boss. Waycrest Manor done. Almost 3 chested it, but we got a nice pair of bracers. Can't complain when we get loot. Move on to an 11 Everbloom. I think this is my first 11, and I'm pretty scared going into this one. But I'm weird for some reason and want to test my Giga Chad, and I pull like 3 Berserkers and an Abomination. We end up getting through it pretty easily, thankfully. This group was really good. They were actually pumping damage, but it didn't go too bad. I think, hey, I'm gonna stun this, but then I forget they disappear when there's no enemies. This pull was very scary for me. There's no way to really skip it, but we end up persevering. I get scared there. I think I'm gonna die, but I have like 200 million stagger. And then I pop a brew. We're good. 500k staggered. Like this pull is just crazy staggered. But again, we persevere. We kill them before the Incorporeals can do anything. We get all the way to the last boss with plenty of time left. Easy 3 chest, 15 minutes, 11 seconds on an 11 Everbloom, and we get a helmet. Go to this Atal Dazar. I'm feeling pretty good after we just did that 11 Everbloom, so I'm all like, we're going left, I feel good. But the Augur ends up getting a full fiery enchant cast because as soon as he casts, that bubble pops up and he's in the bubble. He cannot be interrupted. I don't know if I can ring a piece. If you know, let me know. Let me know if you can ring a piece in that circle. That would be cool to know, so I could use that for next time. But we end up getting through this. He gets one cast of Fiery Enchant off, and he's interrupted. Huge. I was afraid for this boss because this boss at lower level keys, people tend to just burn the totems as fast as possible and call it a day, and then one of them ends up living. But they did a good job. Ends up going really well. Get all the way to Yasma. It's a pretty easy boss on lower levels when you got people doing super amounts of damage, killing her before the spiders start overwhelming the room. That's honestly the only thing that makes that boss hard. But we 2-chest it, miss 3 chests by a minute, and we get no loot. Unfortunately, no one was able to give loot. We push our own key, we go into an Everbloom again. I was like, you know what? We've done this key before, this is easy. Boy, was I wrong. I try and do the same pull I did last time. That went pretty well, that's why I didn't include it earlier. But we end up getting dookied on and dying, and then we keep trickling in, unfortunately, which, you know, kind of sucks, but not a big deal. I die here. They keep kiting. I think everyone else is gonna die, so I sit here for a second. But one guy over there, I think it's the warrior, just perseveres. So I come back in trying to take aggro back, but I don't know what it is about Brewmaster. I genuinely struggle with aggro. I can drop my totem, my Black Ox totem. I could spinning crane kick, and I can do the tornado, and I still won't have aggro. There's that guy up in the corner casting choking vines, but I'm just trying to stay alive here. But we end up beating it, almost 3-chesting. Fortunately, we didn't, but I got some shoulders out of that, and, you know, can't complain. Always good to get gear. They move on to an 11 Black Revolt. This was not my key. This part was really rough. I have issues with aggro. So I try and get the Dominators. I'm also having issues in this key with my mouse. So my right click is working like 30% of the time. So I can't turn, and I can't move my mouse or move my camera view up and down. So that ends up getting me killed here because I'm missing a lot of these Fell Frenzy kicks. I have a good mouse now, but I get B-resed, and, you know, not an issue. We end up finishing it off pretty easily. They get that interrupt, but I'm still having issues with my mouse, and that's what's really annoying about this dungeon for me. We move on to the last boss. Last boss goes pretty easy. We end up 3-chesting the dungeon, 19 minutes for Black Revolt. Pretty good, no loot. Other person gets some loot, but unfortunately, they need it. So, alright guys, so this week is a little bit shorter. I decided that I wasn't going to run any LFR. Unfortunately, I can run 11s now, but LFR doesn't really give decent gear at this point, and I feel like I would just be wasting crests on something that is going to get upgraded by running Mythic Plus. So I'm going to try and do normals next week, but this video is going to be a little bit shorter. Unfortunately, I tried to get into my last few keys on the last day, which is, you know, 29th, the day before reset, but I'm not getting into any, and no one's signing up for my own key. It is quite late at this point, so that's probably why. But I promise, week 3, guaranteed, gonna do my absolute best to fill out my whole vault with normal, even if I have to list my own raid, and we're gonna go into all 8. It is also a push week, so, you know, we should be able to gain quite a bit of IO next week. So, Like and subscribe if you guys want to see more. And once we get this to 2,500, I'm honestly thinking about doing a healer, because it's another role I've never done, or maybe even another tank. We'll see how it goes. But you know, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and see you guys next week.